reason I decided to do a live here, and we'll go over a little synopsis here. There's two reasons. One, I wanted to talk about XRP. Is this a gift for the skeptics, for the ones who might have been, you know, maybe waiting to buy XRP, who were maybe a little skeptical? Or is this the last chance here before we have a little bit of a move up, or the last chance before I move down? That's why I used the thumbnail I did. There's a last chance here in many regards. It's either this will be your last chance to buy at these levels for quite some time, or if we give back this golden cross here in the 4 hourly, it could turn into something completely different. Everything is tied up, even with the relative strength index, for a big move up still around 70 cents, and it still has got the same characteristics of that move. It's just we had a big sell-off. The volume, though, when you want to talk about volume, the big volume on the push up and on the biggest candle, we're going to talk about volume here for a minute in the 4 hourly before we go through the intro or anything else further, because I want everybody to get on the same page real quick. We had 910 million on that initial 4 hourly. We can take that as an anomaly candle, in my opinion, because we had the news of Ripple with the judge's decision, the fine, and yada, yada, yada. So I'll make that an anomaly candle. Then we had 292, 166, 163, 184, 206, and now we start reversing. Now on the way down, we have 90.7, 129, and 136 so far. So, or not the 4 hourly. So if we look at this, not quite as much sell volume, but it is picking up a little bit here in the 4 hourly. Nothing spectacular in terms of selling out, because you had a lot of buy pressure here. So that means the buyers here have not given way and sold out here. We've had a lot more buy pressure earlier on. So let's put it in perspective. We had in total 910, 1.2, 1.36, 1.52, 1. Actually, I can't do it like that. Yeah, I can, because that's like 1.7 billion. So we're about 2 billion in volume. Well, on the sell-off so far, we had 90.7, 129, and 135. So we've got about 300 million in sell volume, but we had a big surge in buy volume just on this exchange. So we know we hit 6 billion overall in buy volume in just a 24-hour period. So I'm not seeing 6 billion. Nothing's showing me that all that volume is being sold out yet. So that's good news. The other good news is we have the 4-hour golden cross intact. The bad news, you know, with the good news, there's always bad news. So don't shoot the messenger. But who am I to tell you, you know, not the bad news if there is? So the bad news, we got rejected at the rising channel temporarily, because it could just be the double bottom. And I'll show you on the 2018 resistance as support, even though we came through it initially. The 63.9 we failed as well, but we should end the cup and handle if we can't get past the rising channel. So ignore that as of right now. Now what you can ignore, and what we cannot unfortunately ignore, is what is playing out right now with the 2018 resistance. And let me be very frank right now, in no way have we given this back. We have a bull flag still very much intact, winding up in fact if it doesn't pull down. And we're in a very, it's an ominous, but a very advantageous spot. Hey, XRP King says, love your channel. I will try to become a member today after work after I get paid. That is so awesome. But don't stretch yourself thin, my friend. Not exactly the best day in the market. I would be honored if you joined Tom's Army, but never stretch yourself thin to pay it forward to show me that support. I do appreciate you love the channel, though. I really, really do. And I look forward to seeing you in the army at some point in the future. So if you're new, we'll get to this right after I do the intro. So please make sure that, and this is the all-time chart, and it's going to put it in perspective. Please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. It's very critical to get as many people in here as we can. And when I say critical, I mean this is like a red alert. This is like as big of an emergency as you could possibly have without having an emergency. Because there's one of two things that are going to happen, and we're going to discuss it. And then also, the tremendous opportunity with B2 Gold. Please don't ignore this. I gave the sell signal at $3. And I told everybody 255 is where you could first, but it came in, it opened very poorly, and it was a very overzealous, in my opinion, sell-off. It was down better than 14% at one point, and I took advantage of it fully. But there was a surprise. It missed earnings by 0.012. It missed by 16.85%. But they had a surprise in revenue, which ended up giving them $19.885 million in revenue. So yeah, they might have missed on earnings, but they had additional revenue, which is the bottom line. So actually, it's an overzealous sell-off. If you would have seen better than expected earnings, but less revenue than expected, that's where the problem is. Because then you hit on earnings and you still couldn't get the money back. Right now, they missed on earnings, but they were still able to create more revenue than expected by a pretty nice margin, by over 4.2%. So that's an extreme buying opportunity, in my opinion, and I am fully vested now. I bought back in. I tapped in a little bit yesterday at 272, but I had over $5,000 to implore, and I bought that at $2.38, the majority, and then I had $4,500 spent, and then at 242, I decided to hell with it, and I spent the rest of the 242. So I'm very happy right now. I got over 3,000 shares now of B2 Gold for my $7,200, and I could not be happier because I had 2,600, a little bit less than that, when I sold at $3. So to say I'm happy right now is an understatement. That's like adding $800 to my account. Yeah, I missed out on a couple $100 because I didn't hit the exact bottom at all the buys, but that was like I added $800 to my account to add more shares. So I'm very, very happy what just happened. Some people take it as a missed opportunity. They say it's a dead duck. I always look for opportunity. And just like with XRP, we're going to go over the potential opportunity here as well. And we're going to have to take a very close look at the XRP Bitcoin pairing to see exactly where we fit in right now. So please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. By you just simply hitting that like button, YouTube will recommend this live, and then everybody can find it. So that means we'll be through the recommendations. The algorithm will be friendly to us. So when you're searching through YouTube, whether you've ever heard of my channel or not, it'll pop up while you're scrolling through YouTube, and you'll be able to make an informed decision. Maybe you see my title, and you're like, oh, what the hell is this guy talking about? Clearly it's a dead duck, or clearly it's a great buy, then they'll click on it. So make sure to hit that like button. I will catch you on the other side of the intro. Thank you, Steven. Going back 3.5 years, or 3 years now, back in July of 21, for creating this fantastic, now nostalgic intro that we use every single day. Good morning, 11:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, August 9th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. How far are we going? I see lots of questions. We will explain it. But first, let's get to some of the comments. And everybody who leaves while I acknowledge the audience, well, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. XRP King, welcome in. Gray Paw, D. Scott, welcome. Let's see. Great Paw says bye. Mad Eagle, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And we know it's the first month because that's my face superimposed on me being abducted by aliens there. LNL Eds, welcome in. Great Paw, John Hall, good evening or good afternoon, welcome in. Let's see. JW and Mo, welcome in. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. It's a pleasure. JW, hopefully everything's going well. I really appreciate all of the support you give me, along with reaching out and seeing how Julie's doing along the way. I do appreciate it. Bell Ross says, great job. Thank you very much. Sound out by later. I appreciate you being here. What's up? Woke up yesterday with the blah, blah, blah. Interesting. I hope you're doing okay, my friend. You're here watching at least. But hopefully you're doing okay. Looks like a Head and Shoulders is going to play out Extreme Ripple. Definitely possible. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Tom N, good afternoon. Or good late morning. Let's see. And make sure to hit the like button, everybody, as some have said. Bradley, welcome in, along with Brad Leemberger. Thank you both for being in your first month of Tom's Army with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. John London, welcome in. Hi, Dom. Do you think, regardless of the hearing, we are just in the long-term pattern and will only go up when the pattern ends? We are in the long-term pattern, and yeah, we very well might go out until the end of the year. But I think until we see in the next 60 days whether or not there's an appeal or not, I think that's the end result. Right now, Ripple agrees to it, but we don't know if the SEC does. So really, nothing's changed except the invitation's been made by the judge to settle this before a trial. So yeah, we're kind of in no man's land, so that's why it was very important, I think, to do this live. But good question, good question. Let's see, Marvin Davis, welcome in. I think that's pretty much everybody who's commented. All right, I just wanted to catch up so we didn't get too far behind. So let's get into this very quickly. XRP, as we can see, turbulent moments. We're at 57.3 cents. The biggest problem here that I see personally, and it's not a huge problem yet, because that's an inverted hammer right now in the daily. So that's still an inverted hammer, and we're still wound up here. Now, we have the 4-hour golden cross. We really want to make sure we stay on top of 57.3, and if we did have to come down here, the problem is we would invalidate at least the part here where we have this bull flag. If we came down to the 200-day, I don't know how we would hold that bull flag, but it would turn into a little bit of a descending consolidation than if it were to hold. But we really want to stay where we're at. 4-hourly still very much intact. The 3-hourly golden cross hasn't been reversed. And now our next job, now that in the 4-hourly we have held, so far, let me preface it, because it could come right through, but as of right now, we're holding the 4-hourly golden cross and near the 20-day. Now we need to move back up above the 2018 resistance, which right now it's nothing more than a wick, remember. We got 16 minutes and 17 seconds to make this nothing more than a wick. So in the next 16 minutes, and you wonder why I came on when I did, we're trying to get over 57.7 cents. In real time, we're trying to get over 57.7 cents to make this nothing more than a wick below the 2018 resistance, and then it shows you a 4-hourly still has support. Holy moly.
He's playing the cannonball game.
On the infinity table? Mm-hmm. Is he really? He likes it? Is he hitting the buttons to shoot him? Oh, good. That's the pirate one, or whatever. So that's what we're working on right now, everybody. This is the big importance right now. Can we hold this area, or are we going to start giving it back? Because we've had a bearish cross in the 30, the 20 cross the 50-day moving average. We're on the verge of a bearish cross in the 45. But if you look at the 2-hourly, still have the golden cross intact. We came back and retested, it looks like, the 200-day practically. I mean, we haven't hit it directly. We hit the 100-day, or the 50-day, I mean. But we haven't given that golden cross back. Even the 50-day still is through the 200-day. So in that regard, the short-term stuff is still intact. And we could maybe look at this. It's going to possibly play out as a back test and it's going to be a golden gift possibly. Now, some will look at it as, here's the rejection point. We already know what's going to happen. And yes, that's obviously a real possibility here that we could break down now that we're on the south side of this. But just don't become overzealous. And yes, we don't have much volume, Lee, and that's a good sign. See, on the rise up, we had substantial volume, and that's what I started with this live. I showed the difference in buy volume and sell volume. Right now, the sell volume compared to buy volume, we had 6 billion in volume come in for buy volume in a 24-hour period. Right now, it's something like 2.8 billion in sell volume. Approximately. It's probably up now from when I checked. But that's sell volume now. So crashing price and the volume's going down, and we've only got about 1/3 the volume going out so far that we had coming in on the rise up. So that speaks volumes as well. Now, I will say, though, in the 2-hourly, up until this candle, we had a rise on volume. Now, all of a sudden, with 13 minutes left, that's a steep drop-off, 2.821 million. And now on this candle, we have 1.57. Now, there's still 13 minutes, but that doesn't appear to have enough time to be giving us some substantial volume in the other direction. So, So that's what we're looking at. But yeah, you're right on the money with the volume that's come in right now for the sell volume. It's just what I'm trying to say here is we haven't oversold the buyers yet. So 2/3 of those buyers are still standing tall in theory. Or not 2/3, about 1/2 right now. Because if we have another 200 million approximately in volume, it'll end up being 1/2. So we'll just say 1/2 of the buyers are holding strong, in theory. Now, some of those buyers could all be there, and it could be sellers that are just selling because they're nervous in retail or whatever the case, other sellers. But as of right now, we haven't given it all back. Just have to see what the day holds, Tom. Need some volume later today to put... Yes, sir. That's right, Lee. See, I like your analysis right now. Yes, you're absolutely correct, because now that the sell volume, if it dries up the sell volume, now we're going to want to see a surge in green volume. So, Ian says that it's beginning to feel like XRP is dead. That's the illusion here. Everybody expected XRP to go up to over $1 right when the judge said something. If you want it to go over $1, we're going to have to see whether or not the SEC appeals the case. Because in my opinion, the only thing that's changed is the fact that we're getting an opportunity here to understand that the judge now, and we went through the 16 pages, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. No, the day before yesterday. But, you know, now we know at least that there's a proposed settlement by the judge, but now both parties would have to agree to it, and Ripple already has agreed to it. They've already said they're very happy with the $125 million fine. In fact, they spun it to say it was 94% down from what the initial, you know, what they thought they were going to have to pay. But first it was the case, now what's the excuse? There is no excuse. I've never used the case as an excuse. But, you know, that's just me. If you're speaking of everybody else, so be it. But, you know, you gotta spin it in the proper context, my friend. Don't bring the bullshit in here, because I don't spin the bullshit. If you're gonna spin it, I'll ignore you. You know, I do something very diligently, so don't spin what I do. The spin here, though, if you want to call it a spin, which it's not even a spin. No, that's what I was saying, Nazar. That's why I said I don't spin it that way. Just don't turn it on me. I know you're not yet. I just said don't try to turn it on. That's why I front ran it, my friend. But I know you're not. But what I'm saying is 60 days is something that everybody should have paid attention to. I know everybody came on YouTube because I seen all the videos, so nobody needs to lie to me. All your favorite YouTubers who came out and said basically XRP won and they're going to oblivion. I know I seen it everywhere. The thousands of dollars, the plus 50,000%, the losers that come out because they don't know. I don't even want to say that. I'm sorry, that's too strong. Or positivity. The ones who come out and feel the need to fluff it up so they can get views, I should say. But we know there's a 60-day appeal process. So until that happens, we're not going to... the problem is we're not going to end up getting what we really want out of this until we see what the appeal looks like. Because for all we know, we could still go to a trial if they don't agree to this, the SEC. I think there'd be a lot of egg on their face if they don't at this point. And I think that's why there was the crypto meeting yesterday. Ripple was in on it. The call with the White House. I think that's why you hear both candidates now, which is all an illusion because the central banks run it all anyhow. But you see the right and the left now in the USA getting behind crypto a little bit here because I think we know what's coming. I think this is a big, big misleading step what's going on right now. And they're trying to get everybody out of this before we start flipping a little bit. And it's not 2028. So when I say flip, you're talking, you might have to wait till 2028. But there'll be opportunities along the way. You see, that's where the fine line is. Like, where's the real opportunity? Right now with XRP, you got to see if that Goldencross breaks. Because if this breaks, the next real opportunity will be at 53.6 cents if it holds that area. And that very well could be, and we can see, and I hate doing this, but, you know, if it comes down, we have to be honest. So we had a breakout of the inverse head and shoulders. There's a very big chance if it comes down, we could back test at 537, the breakout on the inverse head and shoulders. And then if that were to hold, then you could come up to the next layer. Something seems odd about this. I would have suspected a lot more volume pouring in on the sell pressure. Japan finance is 100% incoming. Is that confirmed or a rumor? What do you mean by that, Nazar? No, the lawsuit absolutely is not technically over, Mang. That's what I keep trying to tell everybody. Until that appeal is over, just because Ripple's happy with it, the SEC hasn't agreed to anything. So until they agree to it, this is just conjecture right now by the judge. Otherwise, it's a conjecture for the fact, not that it doesn't sit strong, but it would just be conjecture because it could still go to a trial, especially if the SEC tries to take this further and say that the judge is incompetent or whatever. You know, but it is the Fed and the Securities Exchange Commission. They really have no oversight. They really can do whatever they want. So if they want to take this to trial, they absolutely can. Banks in Japan will use XRP by 25 as the rumor goes. That's been a long-standing rumor, definitely. And that's a part of the world right now that's the biggest expansion for XRP. Between the Middle East, South Korea, the Asian cultures, or the countries in Asia, Southeast Asia. Also, Japan is a very big hub for XRP. A lot of their finances actually shifted around XRP. And I know a few people now that live there based on who are following in the audience, which is pretty cool. And they sent me a lot of updates over the years. And just to see how implemented XRP is there and how easily you can use it on everyday purchases already, it's pretty insane. So I think that's what's coming across the culture. The 30 minute right now is a little oversold. Pushing back. Technically, we're trying to break bullish in the RSI, but we bounced off it back into the bearish territory. So, you know, right now it's not exactly looking great. We're below a key area. The only thing that keeps you with any kind of hope right now is what I started with. The 4-hour time frame, that golden cross is very much intact. And until that gives way, technically, we don't give back to 57.7. And technically, for 6 minutes and 30 seconds, we can still live on the bullish side of town. But unfortunately, where it's at in 6 minutes, what the hell, this wind is strong. In 6 minutes, we're going to end up falling below on a 4-hour candle for the first time closing. You know, and it's going to end up being on the bottom side of 57.7. Jeremy, thank you so much for the $10 donation. That means a lot to me that you would send a donation even in the down day. Really, it does. Really, it does. Unbelievable. What generosity this. I always say this audience holds no bounds when it comes to generosity. But one thing I forgot to speak on. Here we go. So for anybody who's new, that $3.31 is the all-time pattern. That was in January of 2018. It depends on exchange, but that's when we had all-time highs. Resistance 1. Support 1 at 10.8 cents. Took 27 months to hit the current swing low still from this formation. And that was March of 2020 at 10.8 cents. Everybody says shakeouts, but that's not what's happening right now. These aren't technically shakeouts. This is just the pattern formation. We give it cool terminology to make us feel better, but this is just the ebb and flows of a pattern. I don't get too caught up with shakeups and all this, but, you know, it intentionally ends up being a misdirection, which ends up shaking people out if you want to use the terminology, but that's not what this is. This is all by design. This is something different. And you can see it by the pattern. Support 1 is in March of 2020 at 10.8. Support 2, and you'll start seeing January a lot for the supports. So December, January of 2021 is 18.28 cents, support 2. Resistance 2 is April of 2021 at $1.98. Support 3, back to January of 2023 at 30.3, support 3. Resistance 3, March of 2024 at 74.8. Support 4, 40.2 cents here. You can even say support 4 here, but I like support 4 because it's when we finally bounced off at 40.2 cents here. Now resistance 4, as of right now, is confirmed. It would be confirmed in August of 2024, but we've already had resistance 4. But you wouldn't be able to call it a support structure now if this resistance holds. But resistance 4, July, August 2024, and that could be, you know, well, resistance 4 already took place. Let's be honest, resistance 4 already took place, and now we're trying to break past resistance 5. So that's the entirety of the pattern. So it's been one long-standing 6.5-year consolidation, and technically this pattern can keep going until December of this year, end of December or January of 25. Sorry, it's almost hard to believe that we're going into 2025 already. It's like, where does the time go, ladies and gentlemen? And 138 people here. Wow. That's absolutely incredible. 90 likes. Make sure to hit that like button. And if you are looking to trade XRP and you want to get positioned while the drop is on, or because we're down better than 7%, you think there could be an opportunity, you might want to short the market, whatever the case may be, you can look in the video description below, and there's BITUNIX and or HOTCOIN, both equally, in my opinion, valid to use, whether you're in the USA or worldwide. It's the two exchanges I use to avoid the fees. I have exposure to leverage and spot trading at my disposal. There's even margin trading if you want as well. But you don't need to do a VPN or KYC on either of them worldwide unless you're sending or receiving from a bank account. KYC would need to be used, and you would want to be used because you don't want someone stealing from you. But they both have XRP. You can trade the big ones, the big market cap ones. HOTCOIN you can copy trade me with right now. We're up 131%. Haven't made a trade in a couple days because I like to watch the volatility until I find a spot. And we had a $100 challenge that's at about $231 and some change right now. So that's a nice thing to see. And then you can also buy the XRP Bitcoin pairing and so on and so forth. So make an educated and informed decision. If you're on an exchange that charges you an arm and a leg and spot fees, get off of them. Literally, you shouldn't be spending more than $1 or $2 on your buy-in fees, even if you're spending $5,000, $10,000. So, you know, you shouldn't be spending a large amount. Like Uphold on $5,000, it's going to cost you, you know, we've seen upwards. For me, when I sold out, a big example, in 21, I had bought in for $3,500. And when I sold out, I had over $16,000, and it cost me over $1,000 in fees. Had I been on a different exchange like BITUNIX or HOTCOIN, it'd cost me like $3. So don't make the same mistake I did that long time ago. So let's see. D. Scott says, December I'll be dead or broke by then. Certainly won't be holding XRP. Been a holder since 2017. Made a little profit. I got to see the rest of that. The only problem with being a holder since 2017 is you didn't capitalize on everything. And if you were a holder in 2017, there was many opportunities going forward. It's just, you know, a lot of people, once they hold, they think they can't sell and rebuy, and that's what I try to teach everybody. You buy and sell the cycles. I love XRP, but right now is the buying cycle. You know, we've been under $1 for more than 2 years now, going on 3. These are buying cycles. This is the accumulation phase. You have to employ your buying strategy at the proper times. That's why all of mine's sub 40 cents. The rest of it's a swing trade if I ever decide to choose. But all my holding bags of XRP, they're sub 40 cents. There's a reason why. And then sub 30 would be fantastic. Sub 20 would even accelerate it. But there's a reason I have the philosophy I do. But there's a lot of money to be made and has been made, and a lot more money to be lost. No, made profit. Yeah, but if you bought in 2017 and you sold more in 21, you missed more than 50% of your profit possibility. That's what I'm saying. You bought in 2017 and you sold out after the big rally of 2018, and you waited until 21. So I mean that's you did not make more in Solana and all that. You just chose not to sell it at a better opportunity. That's all. Yeah, you might have made more in nominal terms quickly, but had you have held Solana the same way, what's happening with Solana now? You could return it all back. That's the thing. You sold and bought back. Well, I'm basing it on your comment. You said you bought in 2017, little profits. So I got you. Whatever. I'm not. It's apples and oranges. That's your money. However you decide to do it. But I'm just saying there's a certain strategy. Committed more to Solana. It depends where you committed it to. Solana's already still down. It had a 95% crash. So yeah, depending on where you employed it, and then it had a massive return rally. That it just depends where you employ your capital. You use the same strategy with what you had with XRP, you would add similar gains, is my point. But it's all about the cycle. You hit a good cycle. You hit a good cycle. But that, what do I care, honestly? I don't even give a rat's ass, to be honest with you. I like the back and forth. I do care, but I don't at the same time because it's your portfolio. So I'm not trying to tell you one way or another what to do. I mean, look at this in the monthly. What is this? Or the weekly. We came all the way down to 42.92, and we've been all the way up as high as 64.11. I mean, right now, if the weekly closed up here, I mean, it's in a weird spot right now. It really is. It really is, because right now the 4-hour Goldencross is intact. And we're still technically right on the verge of trying to flip that resistance to support right now. We've just been unable to in 2018, that 2018 resistance. So it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. But yeah, I'm not saying that this market is for the faint of heart. And you've got to have some testicular fortitude to know the buy and sell areas, because in my opinion, the easiest way to navigate crypto is just my personal experience. Everybody has their own. Everyone has their own. But in my opinion, you have to buy in the bear markets and you sell in the bull markets. I know it sounds simple, but many people, even right now, it's in a bear market. Everybody keeps acting like we're in a bull market. The hell we are. Remember, at 2021, we were at $1.98, and everybody said that was a bull market. And I said back then, the hell we are. Remember, 2018 was at $3.50. I hardly believe a 55% correction back up is a bull market. It was an ultimate bear market rally, and it played out as such. In 23 and 24, it's played out as bear market rallies. Unfortunately, we have not come back up into bull market territory. I don't really care what anybody says. This is my own interpretation, so I'm going to give it to you the way I see fit. And it's made me a shitload of money. Oh, I'm sorry. It's made me nominal gains to where I don't have to go to a 9 to 5. And it's because of what I learned in trading. And that doesn't just mean crypto. That means when you get your opportunity in commodities, like we just had a brilliant opportunity dumped in our lap because of B2 Gold. I gave you a brilliant opportunity because I told everybody to sell at $3 after we bought at $2.53. So now you get an opportunity now down. I mean, it's up from where I bought it now. It's not in the 230s or down, or low 240s. But the point is, if you sold at $3, it's 51 cents a share cheaper right now. That's a big difference. You have to find ways to employ your capital, and I like to hide my money there instead of in the bank because of I like the dividend, but I also think we're going somewhere in the future there, and I buy and sell. I don't hold it for long terms, but if the chart tells me to sell, I'll sell it, and then I'll buy it back after a big dump. We got a big dump, so I have over 3,000 shares again, and I'm very happy because when I sold, I only had 2,500 plus. So crypto fear, greed and fear index went to 48 right now, right back to neutral. Yesterday was fear. We had extreme fear before, but now we flipped again. We went from extreme fear 20 to now currently back up to 48. And that's what happens. You want to buy the extreme fear at 17 when we had the big dump offs, and then you sell the extreme when you get back into greed. Right now we're neutral, and it's probably going to come back down in the next 8 hours with what happened in the market after the last reading. So, I mean, but I thought this was interesting. Some of you talked about, and it's funny that some of you talked about the different ways to buy XRP. And what do you make of this? I think this is interesting. And this came out, you know, not too long ago. But it says, here's why XRP, and I want to know your honest opinion. Here's why XRP whales may prefer U.S. exchanges over offshore venues. Order books on U.S. exchanges offer more liquidity than their offshore counterparts, according to CC data. So could that be why a lot of liquidity poured in, and 14% of the global trading volume ended up being in the U.S. right after that decision initially? That's a lot of trading volume to talk about worldwide XRP volume having 14% in the U.S. for that 24. You know, it was a big volume surge. So I think this is good details here. Man, it's windy. I figured this was as good a time as any for us to relax. I don't smoke cigarettes, so you guys can make your own conclusion. Cannabis is legal in Michigan, residential, or for residents. I mean, it became legal quite a few years ago for medical, but then for just recreational, it became legal a number of years ago. So here's why XRP whales may prefer U.S. exchanges over offshore venues. Order books on U.S. exchanges offer more liquidity than their offshore counterparts, according to CC data. Has anybody seen this? So there's the offshore exchanges and U.S. exchanges. So here we go. XRP's order book on U.S. exchanges is 30% more liquid than offshore platforms. The greater the liquidity or market depth, the easier to execute large transactions at stable prices. Let me read that again. So if you're a high volume trader, XRP order books on US exchanges is 30% more liquid than offshore platforms. The greater the liquidity or market depth, the easier to execute large transaction at stable prices. XRP is having its moment, not just in terms of price rally, but also enhanced liquidity on US exchanges. A positive development for whales looking to trade large quantities at stable prices statewide. Or stateside. As of Thursday, US exchanges, including NASDAQ listed Coinbase and Kraken, boasted a 1% market depth of 1.12 million, offering 30% greater order book liquidity than offshore exchanges like Binance and OKX. Listen to that again, and I always tell people to be careful with the liquidity of Binance, and it bit some in the ass a couple years ago, and I hope it doesn't again. There's a reason I don't promote it. Offering 30% greater order book liquidity than offshore exchanges like Binance and OKX, according to data tracked by CC Data. In other words, a trade transaction worth at least 1.12 million must go through US exchanges to move the spot price by 1% in either direction. A relatively smaller amount could do the same on an offshore exchange. The 1% market depth on US avenues has increased 53% since July last year, outpacing the 43.2% improvement on offshore platforms. Market depth refers to the market's capacity to handle large buy and sell orders without causing significant fluctuations in the concerned assets going at market price. And I always try to teach everybody something as well. Oh, I understand that, Michael. You know, got to be careful with the cannabis. Sometimes it makes you have a very overzealous response to a buy that you probably would have waited in other terms. So market depth refers to the market's capacity to handle large buy and sell orders without causing significant fluctuation in the concerned assets going market price. The depth is quantified by analyzing the number of active buy and sell orders at various price levels. The 1% depth, which focuses on orders within the 1% range on the currency market rate, is widely used to assess liquidity conditions. The greater the depth, the easier it is to execute large orders with minimal slippage and vice versa. So you can see Binance amongst the highest. BITUNIX, much higher offshore to US. Bybit, higher offshore to US. KuCoin, way big problems compared to the US. Same or offshore, you know, you can see what's going on. So the only one really in this, LMAX has better US than off because it's a, you know, you can see the differential. Kraken, same thing. So there's a lot more volatility when you look at the offshore sides. So trading volume in XRP markets offered by US exchanges has also picked up. Although offshore exchanges remain dominant, US platforms now account for 14% of the global XRP volume. See, you know, I'm not making that number up. Matching the levels last seen 4 years ago, according to Paris-based Kaiko, and that was prior to the US law, the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. The relative improvement in trading conditions on the US exchanges, they should have said XRP trading volume in the US sees its highest share, or hits the highest amount since prior to the lawsuit levels. You know, that's what's going on here. Since last year's landmark court ruling, which granted Ripple Labs a partial victory against the SEC, demand for XRP in U.S. markets has grown steadily, Kaiko said in a weekly note. Last year, fintech company Ripple scored a partial victory. Let's see how many people are watching the information. Good for all of you. Good for all of you. And please make sure to hit that like button. A fair amount still have not hit the like button. We can certainly help push this content. I think it's very important. Fintech company Ripple scored a partial victory in the long pending battle against the Securities and Exchange Commission after a court ruled that Ripple's institutional sales of the XRP and not sales to retail investors amounted to an unregistered securities offering. The regulator sued Ripple for violating securities law in late 2020, leading to the XRP price crash and prompting the U.S. exchanges to delist the token. Earlier this week, how nice of them to delist it after it crashed and not before. Earlier this week, a federal court imposed a $125 million penalty on Ripple for institutional sales of XRP. The amount, however, fell well short of the $2 billion the SEC had sought, sending XRP's price higher by 20%. But it should have said, but the SEC has 60 days to appeal, So there has been no final decision. Only Ripple has agreed to the terms. The SEC's decision is pending. Therefore, a trial is still very much possible here. So that is how it should have ended, but it did not. They left you thinking it was over. So I always like to correct it at the end. XRP doing a fantastic job here, exactly what it needed to do since we last seen it. Because we talked about how we needed to maintain that 4-hour golden cross, and we were slipping a little bit towards 57. We want to move our way back ever so slightly back above 57.7. And then we can start working our way back up over the 2024 or the 2018 resistance. That's the number one thing we need to do right now. I'm not sure what happened to this. I don't know why it's way up there. It should not be. 57.7. I don't know why all this moved. I guess maybe it moved when I was showing you guys everything. And then if it fell underneath 53.4, the golden cross remained intact in the 2-hourly and into the 4-hourly as well. So it is converged here. And look how tight it is in the 4-hourly. Those moving averages are very tight. So, and right now the funny thing is wick-wise, we maintain the candle body over the 2018 resistance. So now it's on to this candle. Can we maintain the integrity? Or is this the first one that's going to give us the closure? See, we maintained it nothing more than a wick right now. See how tricky that is? And now we're in this candle. Is this going to be where we start reversing or fulfill it back down to 53.4? Is that the start of the down or the continuation back up all of a sudden? So that's what we're looking at here. So we got until 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to figure this out. By the time I come back on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this move will be past us and we'll be able to have more concrete understanding of what's coming next. Right now you have conflicting measurements here. As long as the golden cross and that 2018 resistance doesn't give way, very good shape. But we've given back 2.26 billion in market capitalization from XRP. We're down better than 6.7%, and on the onset it doesn't look good. The good news is we put in 6 billion of volume in 24 hours, but now we've given back about 2.8 billion in volume, which means 3.2 billion of that volume plus is still in the buy position, which means the sellers haven't overwhelmed XRP, which is clear because we didn't immediately dump to 53. Now at any moment they could they could overwhelm the buyers and it could come down. But Bitcoin, just as much as XRP, is in a tedious moment as well. Bitcoin is on top of a very important, what we speculated could be an inverse head and shoulders setup, but now it came through, so that's not what it is. Maybe in a shorter term, but the longer term, no. But right now we're trying to hold that 60,000 level, which I'm getting rid of this stuff. I don't care about all of these micromanaging this level with Bitcoin. I don't see the reason. So right now we've got up here at 60, right about 62K is where if we come back up 62,100, we also have very important level, remember this, and this is where I will put this up here. 60,000. We want to be over 60,000 because that's a huge psychological momentous level if we can hold it. Bitcoin still has a huge bull flag set up, and I still argue that Bitcoin is slowly but surely methodically trying to work its way back up near 73K because there's over $6 billion in liquidations from short traders. That is not a joke. So if Bitcoin gets up there, a lot of people are going to be very unhappy that went short. And remember, Bitcoin already liquidated several $billion of long traders as it took out over 95% of long positions when it came down to that drop to 48%. The only 5% that survived were in cross margin, and they had a lot of money to the side and they were able to keep the margin down, and most of them would have had it below 40K just to be safe. Crypto Scrooge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge, the most exclusive badge we have. Unbelievable. Thank you so much. And he says, great live. I appreciate that. So with Bitcoin, it's at a very telling point as well. Does Bitcoin continue to hold this and start pushing up and try to enter those liquidity zones? It still has the bullish cross very much intact. It came up to the 200-day like it should have, and now it's back testing the 20. That's what I'm saying. Right now, you're getting a little standard operating procedure. And if I wasn't paying attention, I might not see this. But we very well, honestly, We very well might be creating a sneaky little inverse pattern here. Especially if it, man, oh man, this is very crazy. Boom, boom, back around. Even if it just holds there, even if it bounces here, I mean, this is creating a nice inverse. This is weird. Beautiful, beautiful back test. It's always got a back test. This just looks like correction right now. If this doesn't break down past 50, there's too much room here. It's left us too much room still to say we broke down with Bitcoin, for sure. Look at this. That's my own estimation of the pivot point, and it played out perfectly. If we're above 58,407, last time we went below it, we crashed. As you can see here, this was my pivot layer, and this was here before it came through, and that would have been an inverse head, or an inverse right arm, and if it fell through, big drop to 48K was the estimation. We didn't exactly come to 48,284, which was the technical target. Yes, we came close to 49,000 roughly, but that's on 800 points off, so who knows? But it was close enough. And once we came to the bottom side, it initiated a big drop, better than 10,000. And then once we came back above it, we started to have a nice move up. And if we hold it, it's gonna increase our odds that we're gonna have a big move. I'm not convinced here that we broke down at all. If there's anything I can give you, make sure this broke down before you're just convinced. Right now, to me, it looks like it could be a flush here to back test this 2018 officially, this resistance, like an official back test and not just in smaller time frames. After it had a big move out, this is the real back test here. Are we finally breaking this 2018 resistance and making it a support? Or is it once and for all going to shoot us in the butt, you know, kick us in the nuts or in the ass, and we're going to lose our own testicular fortitude and we're going to start breaking down finally? And we're going to have to fill this out until December. The likelihood is if we break down now, this will end up consolidating through December probably, or at least closer to December. 60 days out gets us until October, late October. So it makes sense if that's the way we go. But right now, I am not convinced that we're ready to roll over until it gives me the signal. Right now, it's still telling me, Tom, you got to be somewhat bullish though until it tells you not to be. Don't get overzealous here, so I'm not getting overzealous. I'm going to let the technicals do their job. And once it flips to that bearish, I'll let you know. But as of right now, we have not flipped bearish for every reason I've given you during this live. As I said, Bitcoin didn't seem like it was bearish because it was still fighting the 60K. And in fact, it had plenty of room still. Sean Gardner, yes, the old testicular fortitude. If you don't have it, you're going to fail in crypto because you got to have some. The women seem to have more of it than the men that I found in my audience, which is unbelievable. We have a very dedicated and loyal female part of the audience, which I'm very honored about. The typical crypto influencer has about 2.5% female-dominated audience, and that means 97.5% is male. My audience has a little bit over 10.6% right now is female-oriented, so that is unbelievable if you think about it, because I have over 22,500 subscribers, which means there's over 2,250 women in my audience that are subscribed and growing every single day. It's awesome. I can speak of we've got very influential women in our audience that have been here for a number of years. We've got Miss Vicky, we've got Tanya, we have Jan. Oh my God, there's so many more that I'm having a brain fart right now that I feel bad because there's a few more that have been here for many years in Tom's Army and even beyond. There's been so many. I know Liz is out here somewhere and she's been here since I had less than 1,000 subscribers, and that's awesome. There's just so many beautiful people here. My only regret is not finding your channel sooner. Bradley, I appreciate that. You don't know how many people tell me that. But it's never too late, my friend. Remember, the journey has not even started really yet. All we've done is gone through the consolidation moments from 21 to 24. You basically could have closed your eyes from 21 and not did anything after your sale and still had a decent opportunity right now. But everybody, when we get to the final destination, the journey is going to be a beautiful thing that only the ones who are here with us are going to know about. The final destination, when we all get to where we want to go, only the ones who are part of the journey are going to have been able to take advantage of the bear markets. Look at XRP right now, like where it's trying to fight right now over that 2017 or the 2018 resistance. It's trying to prove and try to hold this as a support. So I want to see if it can fight or if it's going to give up. You know, that's what I'm waiting to see, and that's what we're on right now. I will be back at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so anybody who wants to watch the normal live, this was an impromptu one. I'm always, you never know when I'm going to come on now. I'm so passionate about what I do, and I love doing what I do, that I'll come on when I can. And today I had a perfect opportunity. I still can't eat till 1 o'clock because I fast 16 hours a day. So I only eat between 1 and 9 p.m. And I've been doing this for going on 2 years now, believe it or not. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it's been that long. Since 2020, I've been doing this since 2022, to put it in perspective. So it's been over 2 years. Almost. It was just after, it was right before Christmas in 2022, I started fasting 16 hours a day. It's intermittent fasting. And it was 2 weeks before Halloween in 2022, I started working out again and lifting weights. And man, it's definitely paying off now. I wish you guys could see the muscle, but I can't do it. And no, there are no steroids, so you have to keep it in perspective. But I'm definitely feeling a lot better, mind, body, and soul. So, you know, that's the transformation as well as the charts. But yeah, I mean, does everybody see this? Do we think I want to know, do we think we're breaking down, or are we going to break up? And then I did a poll yesterday. I have no idea how many people have done it. I have no idea how many people in the community have participated in this poll, but if you did, I appreciate it. So the poll, we've had 288 votes. Holy crap. You have far exceeded my expectations. So I did a poll in the community on the XRP, my channel, and I said, will the SEC appeal Judge Annalisa Therese landmark decision in Ripple case? 27% said yes, indeed. 66% said no. 7% said there will be a trial. Bless the ones who said there will be a trial, because that's exactly what I'm trying to point to, the fact that it's still a possibility. So by 7% of the people acknowledging that's still a possibility, and they think it's going to happen. Yep. So I appreciate everybody, the 288 of you who have voted. That poll goes on for another couple days, so make sure if you're in the community or you're just watching and don't even subscribe, that's a public poll. So make sure you go to the channel on the communities tab, and you can see that. But yeah, we'll see if we have another pullback to 53.4 cents, or if the 2018 resistance hold. I'm going to leave it there, everybody, so I don't tire my voice out. Thank you all so much for tuning in during this live, and I hope to see you at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.